Okay, good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and get started. Let me know if you guys can hear my audio and see my screen in the chat box. Just give me a little Y or a yes there. Just let me know that it is working. Hope everybody's having a fantastic morning so far. Hopefully, your trading's been going well. We've had some good trades from last night, and we'll talk about those. But first and foremost, we'll go through the disclaimer and get into our trade. So, as always, I just need to remind you guys about the risks involved in the market. You can lose all or more than your initial investment if you're not careful. So please be aware of how many pips you're risking on each trade, in addition to how big your lot size is, and ultimately how that would affect your account if you were to lose money. Okay, guys, so let's go to Forex Factory, check out the news, make sure we have the clear to go today. We have an Italian bank holiday today, not too big of a deal. And there's really not a lot of news today. Basically, we're just waiting for some Friday dollar news. And then that's kind of it. It's kind of a slow week, which is good. That's good for our strategy. So we should be good to just move forward. Let me go ahead and show you my charts. I think I'm going to look to, let's go ahead and sell the euro pound here. And I think that's honestly the trade that looks best to me. I don't like that it's overall in an uptrend. I'd rather be a buyer, to be honest, but there's not a buy opportunity right now. The other one I'm contemplating is the pound franc, but it's essentially the same thing. But this one's kind of in a downtrend. The upside to this one, though, the pound franc, is you do have some order block areas like right here that haven't been tapped into yet. So, if the market came down a little bit further, that could be a really good buy right in there. But at the same time, the euro pound does have its own order block areas like that haven't been tapped into. Technically, that area right there would be one. So I am going to, yeah, I think I will. I took a few long positions on the euro franc just for kicks and giggles before I got in, but the official trade I want to take is this short on the euro pound, and I'm going to go ahead and get started with it. But bear in mind, guys, that this trade does have the potential to break up to this next order block, and that's another 12 pips away, maybe max 15 pips away. So just keep that in mind as you're trading this, that, as you start into your starting position, that's definitely a possibility for this market. But let's see what else. You know what? I just realized it is tapping into another supply zone right here. I didn't really, so this actually, I feel a little bit better about this. Yeah, this is one right here that hasn't technically been tapped into very well yet. It tried right here, but now it's actually hitting into it. So we'll see. Maybe we get the move we're hoping for out of this quickly. We'll definitely find out. But yeah, I'll let those trades sit and do their thing. Obviously, if we came up into this next area right here, I'd definitely be interested in grabbing a couple of sells there. But above that, that's my big concern, is like, how far could this go above that? I guess the next areas where we'd feel comfortable would be looking at, technically there's some areas right here that would be worth looking at. But this thing, I'm just letting you know, this could be a real runner. Like, it could go to the upside quite a bit before it comes down. So that's why I'm not going in super heavy yet. Okay, 1 second. I just need to text this guy real quick. Okay, perfect. So yeah, anyway, this looks good to me. Yeah, so I'm going short, Joe. Yeah, I'm going short on the euro pound. It's not my favorite position just for a few reasons, but nonetheless, I do think we can really manage it. Um, so kind of my areas, and I've drawn them out a little bit already, but my areas of interest are, hey, I think right now is an area of interest where selling is a possibility, and this could go down, which is great. But another area would be if it came up to here, that would be the next selling area. Um, a possibility for this thing to actually come down and go in our favor would be right here. And then after that, where's kind of the next areas that we'd be really excited about? Let's see. I think you have to go to a 15-minute chart to find the next areas of selling interest. Yeah, like right up here, there's definitely, let's zoom into it. This is a banker's candle right here. This is the last move up before the market came down pretty hard. And that has not been tapped into yet, as far as I know. No, it hasn't been tapped into yet. So yeah, if this market did want to go up today or continue higher, there are definitely areas where we could do pretty well for ourselves. So anyway, that's what I'm hoping for on this. I do have some longs that I took before. It's not trades I took with you guys, but some Euro franc longs. And I do like this one because well, it's not my favorite one either, to be honest, but I am owning the trade. So basically, like this is a demand zone that hasn't been tapped into yet. This one has been tapped into right here, obviously because of this. But this one actually down here, we haven't been tapped into. Well, actually, no, it has been. So again, it's not my favorite. You can see this one was tapped into right there. And actually, let's do this. You can see, but this one's just being tapped into now. So, makes you wonder if there's a move coming to the upside here soon. But what I don't like about this trade, and this is why I didn't take this one with you guys, and I took a very small position on this one, but what I don't like about this one is the fact that we do have, like, this was a supply area that was tapped into, and the market went down from it. Like, it actually did well, like going to the downside. And so I'm a little bit concerned about being a buyer on the Euro franc. Although I did get into a couple of what I have got 3 small positions in there, 4 small positions. But that is a little bit of my concern on this one. But nonetheless, I do think if it came to here or back into here, you might find a little bit of help. And that's kind of what I'm banking on the Euro franc today. Yeah, honestly, I kind of wish I had gotten into some of these trades like the Euro pound a little bit earlier. Um, Not for the sell, but I was kind of thinking, dang, that would have been a great little trade right there to buy, because I do think there's actually a pretty strong potential for this Euro pound to kind of break up and then come down later in the day, right? And so that's kind of what I'm expecting. It's not going to be one of the cleanest trades from what I'm seeing here. It's not going to be one of those where it's like, oh, great, hey, market um, came down and just perfectly, and we made our money very quickly. This one looks like it's gonna be a little bit of a battle, which is fine because I think you guys need to see both sides of it. Like, sometimes the money just comes super easy. Like, we're just in and out, 20 minutes, we make a grand or two. This one I think is gonna be a little bit more of a battle. I could be wrong, maybe it just goes in our favor right away. Great. But I I don't know that for sure. So um So 1 second, guys. All right. So where will I aggressively sell into this? Because right now I have a starter position. So where will I actually be willing to aggressively get into this? So because I do think there is a strong possibility of another leg higher, I probably won't add a single trade until we get to this next banker's candle right here. So like not a single one. So I'm going to go ahead and put sell limits up in here. Like that's where I'm willing to sell next, a little bit harder. Yes, I will go ahead and sell harder up there. But still within reason, because it could make a leg even higher from even this level. So I do want to make that clear that even if it got to this next leg, it could still, or this next level, it could even go higher than that. So where would it go from there? I drew it out on a 15-minute chart. Yeah, it's basically this next one right here. So yeah, this would be the next area where, and so I won't add another one until I get to that. And then I'll aggressively a little bit, that's kind of my last level that I'm willing to go for the banker's close today is all the way up to there. That's as far as I'm willing to go. But yeah, based off of what I'm seeing, it really looks like it wants to break higher. So I'm just letting you guys know right now. Should we buy then? Not necessarily, because I don't like going against the banker's close strategy. So I still want to trade the banker's close strategy. I still want to go with this. Okay, let me see this real quick. Okay, awesome guys. So that's what I'm looking to do here is basically just I do think this one's going to be more of a battle today. But we've got our levels out pretty well. So I've just got a small starter now, a small start. Let me delete all out of this stuff because I've got a lot of stuff on my charts here. I've got a small starter position now. I'm not aggressively adding yet because I do think based off of what I'm seeing, we've got a higher high here and a higher low. Like this high is higher than this previous high, and this low is higher than this previous low. Like I'm really seeing the potential for this thing to go up. And again, people will ask me like, hey, well, why don't you buy then? Again, we're in that banker's close hour. I'm not taking that chance either. So yes, I do think it has the potential to go up again. But if it does, I have my areas where I'm going to recoup the trade from, from these positions that aren't priced as well. I really feel like I can get some good orders in right here. And especially if the market came up into here, that's a great place to sell. So either there's like 3 different scenarios that could happen. Scenario 1 is I'm being too pessimistic and my trade's just going to work out, right? Like it's just going to go in my favor pretty quickly and we're going to make our money that way. Scenario 2 is we come up to this next order block and we sell a little bit more aggressively up there, and then I make my money this way. Okay, scenario 3, we come up to the last order block and then the market comes down from there and we make our money. So those are one of the 3 scenarios, I guess. And then the 4th scenario, and this is not likely, but it could happen. I mean, it's always something to be aware of. We go to our stops, right? And we lose money on the day. That is the 4th scenario, but I really don't. I mean, the last time I hit my stops was over a month ago on the banker's close. So I really think we're doing a good job with how we're managing these trades and how we're getting into positions and stuff like that. So anyway, just wanted to be clear on what my plan is with this trade. If anybody was wondering or like, what are you looking to do? And I just wanted to make that clear. And I do think, just again, you've got higher lows and higher highs forming. It looks like there's more gas in the tank to send this higher. And let me just explain real quickly, like, the reason why I wouldn't want to buy right now, even though it looks like there could be a chance of a move higher. When you're at the end of the trading day, there's 45 minutes left until the London market closes. You don't want to be messing around the tops or lows of the market. You don't want to be messing around with those, because if the market decides to turn on you and go against your, like, let's say you're buying and going with the bias right now, if that market turns on you, the chances of you being able to recover that trade are very slim. So whereas if you trade the banker's close and you're going a little bit counter trend at the end of the trading day, there's a better chance of a recovery against, like, let's say you have a losing position. That losing position can quickly turn into a winner at the end of the trading day if you're going counter trend versus going with the trend. Okay. That would be different during the middle of the trading day. Like, let's say 6 a.m. or whatever, during the middle of the London overlap or London market, trading the trends, not necessarily a bad idea. Like, often the market will go in that direction. You've got time to recover. There's volatility time to recover. We don't have that with this type of trade. And so that's why I don't go against, or excuse me, I don't go with the market direction, even though there's a good chance that we're going to get a leg higher here. And again, if we got a leg higher, I would be concerned about, and if I were a buyer and we got a leg higher, well, I guess you could take your profits. But again, we have all the right stuffs here. We're at the upper Bollinger Band on a 5-minute chart on the euro pound. There's no news associated with this pair right now. So obviously a short position makes sense. But obviously in my experience doing this, as you guys know, like, it's pretty common to have a move against you and then it goes in your favor, or a bigger move against you like this and then it goes in your favor in a big way as well. That's what I'm waiting for, and that's where I'm going to make my money today. So I just want to make sure that we're all clear on that, because again, there's a really good chance this could go against us, and I want you to be prepared for that. Okay, where would we take our profits when this thing goes in our favor? So as of right now, we would want to take a lot of profits at the mid Bollinger Band. It's obviously not there yet, or even to this other supply zone down here would be good, kind of where the targets already are. I'm going to bring a lot of these up, kind of up into this area, because that's where we do want to target a lot of our profits when this market is finally ready to come down. I've had a lot of these bankers close trades where I get a setup similar to this one, where I have to wait. I have to wait, 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours. I've had to wait on some of these up to 12 hours to get the move I want. Yesterday was kind of awesome, because yesterday, if you go back and watch the recording, we took the trade in the webinar and we closed the trade in the webinar. So in the same hour that we took the trade, we made our money. I would say almost half the time, within the first hour, hour and a half of us taking the trade, we're out, at least half the time. There's been a lot of occasions where we wrap up the webinar at the top of the hour, just after the London market closes. And 10 minutes later, the trade's done. Like, we get the little spike or the move that we needed, and boom, we're out of the trade. That's why yesterday was so awesome, because we made our money in the webinar, which was really cool. Now this trade, I can already tell, like I already told you guys, this setup is different, right? Like, it's just this is going to be one of those that takes a little bit longer. And it's not the preferred way. Like, obviously, I think all of us would prefer to make our money in 1 hour and be done, right? We can all raise our hands to that. I would want that too. But sometimes the market just doesn't give us those, right? It just doesn't. And so you have to learn how, and it is a requirement to make this work. You have to know how to respond to the different types of market conditions that you're given, right? And this is a unique one where the trade that's offered to us is a counter trend move. Then the order blocks where we would find help in selling are kind of far away. So not far, like from where the market is right now, there's a potential for this market to stop up here 12 pips away. And then there's another potential up here that's like 20, 30 pips away where we're going to get some help today. But that means you do have to carry a little bit of a drawdown in the meantime. So, all right, guys, I'm going to leave that alone for just a second. And it does look like it is making that leg higher like we were talking about. Again, let it be, let it do its thing. And one other thought too, you should have a position on, like, it's not like you shouldn't, but keep in mind, mine is a smaller position. Like on my other account, like you can see over here, I've got 5 positions on the euro pound right now, and the rest are my swing trades, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. We've had a good night with swing trades. Obviously, I'm up $700 on all my trades right now. I am down a little bit on the few trades we took. Like I'm down $30 a piece on the trades we took, just barely. And I'll add to those later. But we've got some good swing trades that have been working out pretty swimmingly, and we're going to talk about those in just a second. Cool. So I'll probably let this sit here. We've kind of got it on an autopilot mode at the moment, right? We've got orders in where we want orders. We've got our take profits where we want them. The stop loss is fine at the default, 40 pips. And then when we're done trading today, and again, it's likely that we won't be done with this trade by the time we're done in 40, 50 minutes. So what we're going to have to do is just adjust our stop loss before we go. But that'll be kind of good. Honestly, if you watch yesterday's class and how we managed the trade yesterday versus today, you have 2 different types of market conditions. And so it's like you get to see how to manage the banker's close in 2 different types, which is really, I think, super valuable, because now those are basically the 2 types that you're dealing with. There's other types too, but I'd say like 40, 50% of the time, it's either this, or the other 40 or 50% of the time, it's how it was yesterday. So anyway, all right, guys. So let's talk about, let's go to Trading View, and let's talk about our swing trades, because we have had a lot of success in the last day with these. Last week was super successful, right? Like I boasted over $16,000 of profits just from our swing trades, which was awesome. And I passed an FTMO challenge last week on Tuesday, which was really, really cool. And I did that with you guys from a signal that we posted, which was super awesome. The first couple of days of this week were a little bit rough, but it looks like we're on track again. Like we've got some really good trades going on, some really good things happening. So let's go into the different trades we posted. So like the Euro CAD is one I posted last night, and the Aussie CAD. So let's talk about those. And I took a few other extra ones last night. Let's go to the Euro CAD first. Wherever it is, here it is. Okay. Okay, so, oh dang, this would have been even more. I guess it's pulled back up. Dang, that we were really profitable on this trade at one point. Dang. Because that's where we got in right there. And at one point last night, this was up almost 100 pips, and now it's up just 30, which is fine. But we must have been, dang, while I was asleep, I was a rich guy while I was asleep for a little bit. It's fine. It's still a good trade. We're still positive, which is great. But I'm only up $400 on that trade right now. But I'm certain I was probably up, you know, way over 1,000, maybe close to $2,000 at one point last night. That's fine. I have a pretty greedy target on this trade, to be honest, but it's also fine. So let's talk about this. So when we're doing these swing trades slash overnight trades, a lot of them are going to be taken on this hourly time frame. Okay, that's kind of my bread and butter time frame to find supply demand zones. I get the vibe that the banks hang out on this time frame a lot. I think they make a lot of their entries on this time frame, and that I could be wrong. I've never worked for a multinational bank that does trading, but from what I've gathered and from what I've studied, it looks like, you know, they're working on those weekly time frames, daily time frames, 4 hour, and I think the lowest time frame they often will go to is like that 1 hour time frame for entries, and that's why I feel like I like this, because I've had a lot of success. It doesn't even matter what they're doing, because long story short, I've had success with the um, um, I've had a lot of success with the hourly time frame. So, all right, guys, so let's do this. Let's go over here. Here's the Euro CAD. Last night, the market was right up here. Okay, that's where the market was when I found it. And I wanted to sell this thing. I was like, okay, why do I want to sell this? Let's talk about this. So on this hourly time frame, you can see that we've had this huge juggernaut run to the upside. Okay, Euro CAD. And when you see this type of activity, you want to ask yourself the question, okay, how much longer is this going to go? How much further does this move have before it's done? How do you figure that out? Honestly, it always comes back down to where is supply and where is demand. If demand is nearby, then maybe a move up is coming. If supply is nearby, then maybe a move down is coming. So there is some supply up here. And obviously the market's come right basically to supply, and it's come down. So this purple area is a supply box that I drew out, and look how much the market hates that area. It came up to it one time and immediately was rejected. It came up to it a second time and immediately was rejected. And again, whenever somebody tells you, oh, you can't time the market, nobody can time the market, guys, they just haven't figured out how to do it. Okay. I really don't like it when people say that, because no, you're never going to be perfect. But yeah, you can, like, you actually can. If you find supply and demand, and you really can. Anyway, you're going to see it here in just a second for those that are new. But like, okay, so when you see this huge juggernaut move, you want to find out, okay, when was the market last time in this area? Where is supply? So you go to the left side of the chart, which, by the way, I think Jason, thank you for that tip last night in the webinar, in the COT report on how to extend these boxes out. Huge lifesaver. I didn't even know you could do that. So I saw your message and I was able to figure that out. So I appreciate your assistance that way, but super awesome. No, that's so cool. Yeah, I bet it's super helpful for you and your trading as well, because that's a lot of what we do, is looking for supply demand zones. So yeah, coming over here, the last time the market was up in this general area was February. Is a long time ago, right? So coming over here, why is this a supply zone? That's a question you have to ask yourself, especially if you're new. Why is this supply? It has to do with two things. Number one, break of structure. I cannot stress that enough. Like, what is break of structure? So to understand break of structure, you have to know what support is and you have to know what resistance is. Support is an area where the market comes and likes to hang out and then bounce off. Resistance is an area where the market comes up, hits the top, and then comes down. And whenever it goes back up there, it likes to come down again. Generally, that's support and resistance. And once resistance breaks, so if a market comes up and goes even higher from there, that's a break of structure, because the resistance level that everyone liked for so long has now broken. And the support level that everyone liked for so long, if that breaks and goes to the downside, that's also known as a break of structure. So here you can see on this Euro CAD, we have this nice support area right here. Okay. And in fact, you can draw a line. And just so everybody knows, support and resistance is in fact different from supply and demand zones. Okay. So this is here, one second. This is a support line. Sorry, guys. Let me get back to where we were. Here we go. Okay. Sometimes my trading view likes to disconnect. Here we go. So this line right here, this first blue line, that is a support resistance area. Okay. Why is it a support and resistance area? Because look at this. Go back in the past. The market likes this area. Look, it liked it right here. It kind of made resistance up here. It liked support right here. It liked it right here. Same thing right here. Um, really liked it right there, right? It just came up and came right back down. That is a support resistance area because it's been utilized as a support level at some points and it's been utilized as a resistance level at other points. Okay. Now, that since we know that that is a supply or not supply demand, that is support resistance, we want to find out what caused this market to break such a strong point of resistance or support, or in other words, what caused the market to break its own structure. That's the point. That's like the thing you have to understand. If you understand that one thing, you will unlock all sorts of trading opportunities. Okay. So this is it right here, guys. Whatever this was, whatever the consolidation was created right here, whatever the banks, obviously they had a lot of sell positions, but whatever sell positions they put in the market right in this area is what caused this market to ultimately just fall apart, right? It just fell off a cliff, right? And so because it fell off this cliff, we want to find out, okay, what were they doing in here? Obviously, whatever dirty business they were doing in here caused this thing, right? Now we are, for the first time in like 9 months, 10 months, revisiting this area. Okay. So now we come back over to this chart to where we are today, coming over to December. Look what the market's done. It comes up and hits supply demand. Obviously, it broke resistance. This was resistance. This line, we don't care about that. We don't care about breaking support and resistance. It's meant to be broken all the time. Don't ever think that market will come to resistance and then stop and then go down, or market will go to support, stop, and then go back up. It doesn't work that way, guys. It works around supply demand. And if supply and demand just so happens to be exactly at support and resistance, then sure, maybe that makes sense. But it all comes down to where is supply, where's demand. Supply is up here, guys, because whatever the market makers did up here is what caused that massive, huge move down back in February that you guys saw. So since we know that, that's why this market is struggling to, it's really struggling to break above this level right here. And so I executed a sell last night right here. And we are up, I'm up $400 on this trade, but I think, like I said, at one point I was up quite a bit more. And this market's tried to bounce back up again. What else was going to say about this? So anyway, that's a trade I'm holding right now. And I don't know how far this is going to hold. It's possible that this market wants to break even higher than that. But at the moment, we've got the edge because we've sold all the way up here. Obviously, it would have been better to sell even a little higher, but I'm not complaining a ton because this is still a great place to sell. And we are up on this trade, so can't complain too much. So that is a trade that we are in right now. That is a signal I posted last night. And then another signal that we're in is this Aussie CAD, and that one's actually it just barely crossed. It just barely crossed to the downside, or like we're just barely negative on it. Let's talk about this one. So here's the Aussie CAD. This one is a similar story to the Euro CAD. It's at this high resistance on an hourly time frame. Like it's come up quite a bit. Um, but it's really struggled in this area so far. Um, and why is that? If you come over to the left side of the chart here, and again, I think you have to go back to like May or something like that, maybe April. You have to come back here quite a bit. Here it is. This was a support area. This is support resistance right here. Okay. And it actually happens to be around supply demand. Okay. So sometimes, that's why a lot of people like to think of it as the same thing, but they are different. In this circumstance, supply and demand happen to be basically at support and resistance, just in this circumstance. Okay. So what happened here, guys, is back in May, this created a nice little consolidation here, and it kind of went back and forth, and then boom, what happened? What happened? Why did this thing just fall apart in like 3 or 4 bars and go down 100 pips? So that's key, right? That's break of structure right there. Obviously, it broke through a nice little resistance or support level right here, and it just busted right through it. So what caused it? It's whatever the market did right here. Whatever the market makers were selling right in here, whatever they were doing caused this. And so since we know that, now you want to fast forward to where the market is today. Since we know that, we fast forward and here's this market, it's come right up to this level and boom, just struggles, right? So far, this one hasn't struggled a ton. That does have me a little bit nervous, but it's not like the end of the world either. Like I've seen a lot of these kind of come up into these areas a little bit and then just get trashed later. So I'm still going to stick in this trade, even though, there is that little potential for this thing to go up a little bit more and then come down later. Um, but yeah, this is a supply demand zone. Definitely supply up here. And so that's why I'm sticking to my guns on this short position still. Would I prefer it to come up here and then just immediately come back down? Yeah, that I would prefer that type of market, but it's not necessarily a requirement. All right, so another trade I took last night. Let me show you some others. This is another one. This one I am up $600 on, and I apologize I didn't send it. Was going to be really late, and I didn't want to send it out that late. I was already getting late to this, but here's the pound Aussie. I am short on this guy right now. I shorted, let's see, I shorted this guy at 1.81290. 1.81290. So about right there is where I sold last night. And I was a little late to this sell, to be honest, but there are a ton of sell blocks up here, guys. Let's talk about these. So this one is pretty obvious to me right here. And then there's another one that's pretty obvious too. Maybe the market gets back up to it. I don't know. But let's fast forward, or let's go to the left side of the chart. You can see it hit it one time back in October. It hit right there and immediately came down into that supply zone. But let's go to where this originated, which was a long time ago. Like you have to go back all the way to March of this year, long time ago. But look at this, guys. So again, this is a consolidation support level, and the market broke that. Let's see, is there any other? Yeah, and this, you can see it's also support right here. Oh, this line is support, and then the market just busted through that. So what caused the market to break through that support level? It's whatever happened right here. Okay, and so that's why I was pretty excited. I am pretty excited about shorting this, is because this was a nice support area, and what caused it to break? It's whatever happened right here. This is also not a bad area right here. But really the next awesome area would be to sell right up here, because whatever happened here caused this breakout. and really kind of led to some of these other breakouts too. So there's some other good areas. I guess you could call this one maybe, but ideally, I would say this one is the best, this first one that we're at right now. And why is that one the best area to sell at? Because it is what caused this break of support right here. It is the last consolidation. It's the last mechanism or whatever you want to call it that broke that. So that's supply. Supply is right in that box. So now you come back over to the right side of the chart. We've been there once or twice. You can see we touched it right here in October. Look how amazing that is. Touched it and got rejected. Absolute dejection right there, right? Crazy how that works. And then this time it's come up to it. It actually pierced it through it just barely. And then it's struggled since then. So we'll see if this actually holds and if it wants to come down, but nonetheless, it is a trade I took and I'm hoping for a move lower. We'll see if it actually does continue lower, but that is another trade that I'm in right now. You guys could hop into this too. Again, I apologize for not getting this one out to you guys a little sooner, but that is a trade that I'm in. Let's see, another trade. This one I am down on, and but let me show it to you guys so you could get into it if you wanted to as well. But this is the CAD Franc. I'm down 200 bucks on this one. Let's pull this one up. Here it is. So this guy has been down quite a bit, right? Like he has been just getting tattered in a big way. This is the CAD Franc. And again, why did I choose these pairs? Why specifically these pairs am I looking at? I'm looking at pairs, guys, that are either going down the most recently and the pairs that are going up the most. I'm looking for stuff that's at multi-month lows, multi-month highs, and the reason why I want those is because there's a good chance coming in the future that we're going to eventually get a reversal. Now, you don't want to just speculate. I used to do this when I was brand new to trading. I would just speculate and just say, oh, hey, this looks like it's down a lot. It'll probably turn around at some point. Guys, it's just a recipe for disaster if that's the way you're trading. I mean, I used to trade that way. So now what I do is I look for supply and I look for demand to determine if there's actually going to be a reversal. And I love those types of trades because usually for me, they're the most lucrative if you can catch the bottom of the market or the top of the market, but you have to know how to do it, right? You can't just blindly just kind of guess that that's the bottom or blindly guess that that's the top. If you do it that way, you're going to get yourself into a lot of trouble. Okay. Just fair warning. All right. So with this guy, I do think we are actually coming into a close to the bottom. On this guy. I wouldn't have guessed it back in here. I probably would have said it would probably keep going down, but now my prediction is that we're getting close. And I'll show you all the reasons why. There's actually a ton of order blocks in here. And I bet you if you pull up like a 4-hour time frame and do like a Sonar Lab, yeah, you can see there's several blocks in there on top of my blocks. And I'm no surprise that the indicator is saying that there's order blocks. Look at all these. All those green blocks are inside my blocks that I drew out. Not up here. They're not up here. They're not here. They're in my blocks. And it's because, my analysis, I think, is doing pretty good at identifying where those are. There's another one down here, a couple more down here. I'm not interested in those yet because this is where the market is right now. But yeah, that's kind of cool to turn that on and off on TradingView. But okay, so why these areas? In fact, I was just curious, that's on a 4-hour time frame. Let me see what it does on like a 3-hour. Does it still have the same blocks? It's usually different. Yeah, it's because it's so long ago that it's not going to show those blocks unless you're on a 4-hour time frame. Let's see, does it daily show them? Daily says there's one down here a little bit further to go, but it's still within my final couple of blocks down here. But okay, cool. So let's go back to a 1-hour. because that's the time frame that I like to trade on. And here are my blocks right here. So let's fast forward to where this market last time was in this area. It was a long time ago. Like you have to go back pretty dang far. You can see this block hit one time right there and went up. Oh, I have to go to a two. It's so long ago. I have to go to a 2-hour time frame to get data for it. It was such a long time ago. The market was in this area, right? How, and that's the thing. You have to do this research in order to, you have to decipher, okay, what happened back in here in 2020? Like what was the market doing over here in 2020? The last time we were in this area on the CAD franc to figure this out, right? So let me break this down one by one. So let me make this bigger for you guys so you can see. I'm going to move this over. Okay, so this dotted red line is where the market is right now. That's kind of nice to know because we've gone back basically 2 years of data to find out where things are. So basically, when you're looking for stuff like this, again, look for breaks of structure. So for me, an obvious one is this right here. This was a resistance level right here, whatever this was resistance, and the market just disrespected it and it busted through it right here, just busted right through it. It tapped into it one time back in November of last year, tapped into it, and then obviously went up again. But this was the thing that caused whatever this is right here is what caused this breakout. And so this is a supply, this is a demand area, okay? It's a strong demand area, okay? Also coming, if you keep going to the left side, there's some other ones like this one right here. Let's draw this line. Actually, where the market is right now is where that resistance was. You can see it was resistance here, support here, resistance again, resistance right here, resistance again. What caused it to break out of its resistance? Boom, this move right here, whatever caused it is right here. So this is another supply box or demand box right here, whatever this thing is. Okay, so that's why I drew that one out. And then this was also a break of structure right here. There's quite a bit of resistance right here, and the market broke out of that. What caused the market to break out of this? It's whatever this guy is right here. Okay, and that is basically your final levels of supply and demand, or mainly just demand in this area. So, and I just went back to find these. Like I just went back in time and said, okay, this is what caused this breakout of this structure. There's another structure right here. What caused it? Oh, this guy broke it. And then there's one more right here. So I've got 3 different blocks. And then, yeah, if you pull up the 4-hour Sonar Lab, if you go back over here, Sonar Lab is saying, look at this. Yep, sure enough, they're almost exactly the way I drew them out. Almost exactly. Look at all these. You can move my boxes out of the way. Look at this. You'll see them all. Oh, this is not moving. There we go. Oh, come on. I want to see these. There they are. This one, almost exactly the way I drew it out. Isn't that cool? You know you're doing something right if that's happening, right? You know you're doing something right. So we know that there's demand. Demand is right here. The banks are paying attention to this. The scalp trader is not paying attention to this. The average retail trader is not paying attention to this. So a monster trade is coming. We know we've got confirmation from our own analysis, and we have confirmation from the indicator. So we know that there is demand down here. So now that we've done this research, and how long did that take? 5-10 minutes to go back to 2020 and find this? Like there it is. That's from there to there, there to there, right? That's on a 4-hour though. So I like the 1 hour, right? So now that we know this market, if it wanted it, this is a lot of arsenal for the market to just break through all of this. Oh, just 1 second, guys. We got a nice move on the 0 pound. I need to close out just a couple of trades. Let me do that over here on my other account. I need to close out just, I don't know, just like 1 or 2. $50 there, another $50 there. I'll close one more out and I'll leave the rest of those. Okay, perfect. So that's so far so good on the banker's close. That's awesome. I was very pessimistic. I was like, this is not going up. This is not going in our favor right away. I guess I was wrong. I'm happy that it is. I feel like sometimes if I'm just more pessimistic about it, I don't feel so bad if the trade goes against me because I'm like, see, I knew it. I knew it was going to go against me, right? But then, um, um, no, it's all within the trading plan though, right? And it still might go against us. I'm glad we took some profits though anyway, because it still might go against us. All right, guys. So back to the CAD Franc here. So this guy has a ton of demand in this area, confirmed not only by our own analysis, but yes, there is the indicator is Sonar Lab, which is just it's just for fun, guys. I don't want you guys to rely on Sonar Lab. I want you guys to rely on your skills. I want you to find these on your own. And then if Sonar Lab tells you, yep, it's almost like grading your paper. Like you grade your own paper. Like here's your paper, you write it up in school, you turn it in, and you don't have a teacher to sign it off for you. So Sonar Lab signs off for you. You're like, yep, oh great, you did your job correctly. You know, it's kind of nice to have that extra confirmation after you've already done your work, right? But I wouldn't rely only on Sonar Lab because Sonar Lab is, if you look up the code of it, like how it's designed to work, it's only taking specific candlesticks. It's not actually pulling the entire zone. So you'll often find that my purple zones here are a little bit bigger than, say, the Sonar Lab order blocks, because the order blocks in Sonar Lab is it's only picking up the specific candlesticks that it thinks is an order block, versus like here you're saying, hey, there might be 2 or 3 candlesticks involved in that order block, or more maybe, and you're capturing that whole thing. And that's why it's nice to be able to know how to do this on your own. Okay, so back to this. This is why I'm so excited, because this thing has been down, down, down for a long time. But guys, a move is coming. Big move is coming. A change of direction is coming. Okay, and we know this. I don't know if everybody else knows that. I don't know if like the average retail trader knows that. Now, to be clear, and I need to make sure I just put a massive disclaimer on this. We are at the beginnings of these order blocks. Yes, we are in it. This is buy time. But how far is my lowest order block? It's still 80, 77 pips away. Can you lose a lot of money with 77 pips? Yes, you can. You can lose a lot of money in 77 pips. So that's my risk right now on this type of a trade. Like we could absolutely, this market could absolutely come all the way down to here before it comes up. I don't think it will, but yes, it is a possibility. We could see this thing come down to here, maybe tap into this last area and then go up from there. But that's what kind of the expectation should be on this CAD Franc. But if you have that in mind and realize, okay, like here's some potential trade setups for you guys. I'm looking for at least a 3-to-1 reward to risk ratio on this type of trade, at least. So here's what you could do. Like let's say you bought right now, you could stop out at the end of this order block, which I think is like right here. And a 3-to-1 would put you at right here. That would be 3-to-1. Okay. And so you would make approximately 122 pips, and you'd be risking about 40, 41 pips on this trade. Okay. Another example of a trade setup would be to maybe engulf this entire area. So you buy right here and you put your stop at the lowest order block. This one's not going to get you the best reward to risk ratio, though. I think you could probably only go about 2-to-1 on this type of trade. So you could be looking at something like there. You're kind of pushing it though, guys. I don't know if the market's going to go that high. So that's a lot of risk on that one. What I would do is probably just go a couple separate trades. The ideal trade would be this one. This is my last trade if the market came down this far. I don't know if it will though. It might just go up from here. But like if it got to this last order block, you could stop out right there and you could absolutely target 5 to 1, 6 to 1, 7 to 1 type of thing. That's totally possible with that last order block. But it's very likely and even possible the market may not even go down that far. And so it would just be a missed opportunity if you waited. So I'm not waiting, but I also am realizing that, hey, I'm only looking for a target, say right there, or I'm looking for a target, maybe in this area, because there's some supply demand here. That's what's so cool, guys, is you're basically your targets, your entry is based off of where is supply and demand, and your exit is also based off of where is supply and demand. Isn't that so cool to know when to get in and know when to get out? Like, guys, I've been trading for 10 years, and for the first several years that I was trading, I don't know, I was that classic retail trader that was just kind of like, well, I'm up a little bit of money. I'm up $50 on this trade. I guess I'm going to close it right now. Like that, you can't do that. Like everyone, you start that way, that's just how you start. But you do have to get over that phase at some point. You really do if you want to make it profitable. So that's what I would be doing, is just saying, okay, hey, look, you've got there's a supply demand area right here, a small one, and then you've got another one up in here. You could target those. But basically this whole area is supply. So or demand. So I would, if I were you guys, just have a plan to be able to buy all throughout this region. But I would not want to be in this trade past this blue line. That's kind of your max stop loss. It's right there. Have fun in between here and here buying. I think you'll be safe in there. But if it goes beyond that, you need to stop out. You need to take a loss. What's my average stop loss? So on these swing trades, it's every currency pair is different. I like to look at my stop loss more at like reward to risk ratio. So I have a personal rule that I need to ask the market to give me 2 to 1 at least on every single swing trade that I take. So for every dollar I'm risking, I'm trying to make $2. And most of the time, I'm trying to go for 3 to 1s, 4 to 1s, 5 to 1s. So I need to make $3 for every dollar that I'm risking on a trade, right? By the way, it looks like our Euro franc trades moved in our favor just a little bit more. And I want to close these. I didn't want these Euro franc trades to begin with, so I'm going to close these ones out. Try to close those. Okay, I'm going to leave those last two trades there. That's a smaller account, but what's fun is I've got on this account, I've got I'm up $60 on the last two trades that I'm holding on the Euro pound. We'll see where that goes. But that's just fun to see that continue to go in our favor. Okay. But back to this, guys. So this is going to be a big trade. Oh, and to finish answering your question, Joe, great question. So what's your average stop loss? It more has to do with the reward versus the risk that's available to me. So if I'm trading on a smaller time frame, like a 5-minute chart, the amount of pips involved are fewer than the pips involved on an hourly or on a daily time frame. But the consistent rule across all the time frames that I might trade on is that I have to demand that the market gives me $2 for every $1 that I'm risking. And if I want to, and ideally, I like to take the trades, and I won't take every 2 to 1 trade. Like I won't take every single trade that comes my way that offers a 2 to 1, but I will try to take most of the trades that come my way that offer at least a 3 to 1 or more opportunity. And it is important to learn how to do this, guys, because I feel like so many traders, and I've been the same way. Like when I first started trading, I would try to take these big wins or not big wins. I would take a lot of small wins. I'd be very content taking lots of small wins. And that's not necessarily a bad idea if you are getting those big wins in between. But because those losses come in and you do get lots of losses in this market, in this business, um, those losses can consume those small wins very quickly. And so it is important to have some home runs in there. You know, you do have to have a mix of home runs and lots of singles and doubles. Like you do have to have all those types of trades. Okay. I feel like the banker's close is like taking lots of small wins. So it's not a bad idea. Like I've got those last two trades that are up $60 each. And then I booked 3 trades for, I have one that booked for $55, another one for $51, another $51 trade. And then I have the last two that are straggling that are up over $60 a piece right now. Right. Those are small wins, right? But they add and it's nice. The real wins are going to come from these other trades. Like you look over here on this account and you're like, oh, hey, look, we're up $1,500 on unrealized so far. Most of this is coming from like these bigger trades on the pound Aussie that's up $700, the Euro CAD that's up 600, and some of these others that are up as well, right? That's where most of the money is coming from, is kind of those bigger trades. And this is one of them, this CAD franc, which was down $200 like 30 minutes ago, and now it's up a little bit. So this guy, honestly, guys, this is going to be a great trade. It really is. Like I don't see why this can't get at least to here. I don't. It would blow my mind if it didn't. It would blow my mind if it didn't, especially with the vast amount of demand that's in here. Like it's unreal how much demand is in here. So I know I've got the bank's help right here. I know I've got their help in this area. So I'm not afraid to take this trade. And so the trade I have on this, I've only bought 2 contracts. So that's $20 a pip. So if this trade wins, if it just goes to its minimum target at 50 pips, what is that? It's $1,000. So I'll make $1,000 on this trade at minimum. If this trade wins. Okay. Which it definitely should. I kind of am kicking myself, and it's not too late. I might add to this trade and make it a little bit bigger, to be honest. Okay, I just realized that I've definitely gone over the hour, which is fine. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But I'm going to send out more of these. I will send you guys in fact, I'll update our bankers close trade once we close it out completely. But in addition to that, I'm going to text you guys in Telegram the trades that I have open, in addition to the ones I sent out last night, plus some of the other ones I added. Like this CAD franc. Like, guys, I'm basically at the price I got into. So you can definitely get into this trade if you wanted to. This is not too late. But just keep in mind that it has the potential to come all the way down to here before it goes up. But we will be getting an up move. And I honestly think that the banks are going to help us out like right away. I think it's going to go up from here. I don't think the drawdown is going to be much worse. So, all right, guys. Well, super awesome class. Happy to make money any day we can make money. Another profitable day. I think tomorrow will be awesome, and going into next week will be awesome, especially holding some of these bigger swing trades. We should have some pretty big wins to go into the weekend. So anyway, guys, appreciate your attendance. Thank you for coming, and we will see you tomorrow in the next Bankers Close webinar.